Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about DNA and protein databases, as we have talked already about the significance of bioinformatics in biological fields, and one of the core factor which is important and which made a lot of progress in biological fields is based on databases, because databases provide a lot of different information in an organized way, which help the biologists to find the answer of their questions. But let's see what is important in databases and what type of information. So first of all, we know that the definition of a database is actually that an organized collection of related information, right? This actually means, as you can see here in this slide, that there is one you can see that this is a database, this one, and these are different type of related informations. These are coming from different sources. For instance, if we just take this as a student portal, as you are a student of any university and you have a portal, and where you find the all the information related to your courses, and also your attendance and your marks and everything, and all the other details that which program you're working in. So these are different sort of information which are coming from different sources. For example, one source is like you are studying courses, right? So these courses are actually of related to different teachers. Then this is one sort of information. Then you are actually under one program, like for example you are working under Department of Biosciences, then this is another source. Then for each course you have different subjects, right? And and the again, this is another source. And then, other than, for example, your assignments, your marks, right, your previous record, so all these things are actually uh, belong to one database, that is the portal that belongs to your university, that is ComSets. And these are coming from different sources. For example, we say this is for courses, this is for teachers, this is for program, this is for previous record, and so on. But if there is no portal or no database available for you, then it becomes very difficult for one student to find the information of his interest. And or you can say that for the university to, for example, university wants to look for your information, but the university has to first go to one building where he can find information related to courses, other to get uh, about the programs, then for one student and its marks and so on. So that becomes very laborious, and it makes things complicated. So database actually make these all information in an organized, you can say, in an organized way. And this organized way will help the university to get the information as soon as possible, and also all the record, so that they do not make any mistake at any stage. So you get an idea that database is the integral part of any resource or information. So next, but what about biological databases, right? So a biological database actually contains a lot of information, and that is similar to any other database, but here the term, you can say this term of biology makes it a bit different from the rest. And that biology, that in biology we are talking about computational biology, and then we have read a definition that uh, bioinformatics or computational biology is sort of a computational branch of molecular biology. So molecular biology contains information related to different sources like nucleotides. If I change the color here, nucleotides, proteins, right? And then motifs of proteins and the structure of that protein, and then the expression information of RNA, and then their metabolic pathways. So from DNA to RNA to protein, these all information has to be stored in some meaningful way so that we can access that information. So this type of data is present in biological databases, right? So what does actually the biological database contain? So this is one summarized view. I have included one article which from where I took this picture, and you can find that in this in the description part, and you can read that in detail. But to make a summary out of it, that is, from database contains two sorts of information. One is the primary information, and the other is the secondary information. So the primary information actually contains the first hand information, the raw information. For example, if I sequence gene, a DNA sequence of a gene, then that DNA information is stored in one DNA database. That is actually the primary information. And from that DNA, if we want to look for other any regulatory parts, and then make information out of that regulatory part, that for example, how many promoters are present in this DNA sequence. So that promoter database would be the secondary database. So there are two types of information. One is primary. We will get into the detail of this in later on with examples, that what are the types of primary databases and what are secondary databases, right? And then from this primary and secondary database, then here comes the you can say there are protein databases, and then again for protein databases there can be primary protein databases like amino acid sequence, that will be a protein database. Then if we want to look for the motifs of structural part of that protein, that can be the secondary database. So we'll go in detail later on. What actually contains the you can say the structure of database. So structure of database, just for your idea, you don't have to develop a database through this course, but you should have the basic understanding of the what components a database contain. One is the flat files. What actually is the flat files? Flat file actually are the, you can say, plain text format or any tabular information which contains, for example, if I make a flat file of one DNA sequence, so we say that in one row there would be a DNA sequence, and then in the next row there would next column there would be the name of the DNA sequence, then any other related information. So if in one row this information, other row another DNA information, and then the name and the description, and then DNA name and description. So this is flat file, which actually contains all the details in a tabular form or in a text format anyway. But this is not as organized as relational database. What is the difference here? In the relational database, this information will be indexed. Indexed means that each information would be assigned any specific integer or any specific accession number, and under that accession number, for example, a 1, 2, 3, right? And this three, related to this three, all the information of this DNA or this with this name will be stored under one index, and that index can be accessed directly, and we can jump directly. For example, we just type 3 and it will jump to the 3 serial number, and it will give all the information. What is the difference here? That this will make this data, relational data, non-redundant. What does non-redundant means? That all the information will be stored once. Here in the flat files, all the information can be stored into multiple times, but we don't know that how to exclude, because that is not indexed. So we can find a lot of extra information in the flat files, which have to be screened and indexed so that the information gets non-redundant. The third one is once another database, which is a modified form of, you can say, relational database, that is object oriented database. Now object oriented programming or database or structure is actually a type where all the information is stored in classes and objects. There are two words or terminologies, you can search that, and also you can read the article mentioned in the description, that actually classes are the main components. For example, if I say this is one class, right, class 1, and this class 1 contains a lot of objects. For example, if here we are talking about the gene name. Now what is contains gene name, and then gene name, then its protein name, and then its RNA information, right? So these and so on. So one class can contains multiple objects. So this is different objects of one class, and these objects are connected to other classes or other the objects of those classes. For example, C2, right? Here it is another class that is of which contains the sequence of gene, then a sequence of protein sequence, and then sequence of RNA. So and so on. So this class is connected to this class, and the objects of these classes are connected to other classes. So that the information is organized in different classes, and that can be accessed directly. For example, if I take the object of this class 1, that is gene, and I can get all the information related to gene by because this object is connected to the other classes and their objects. Actually, this will help the to make database more fast and non-redundant, and you can say user friendly. Yeah. So as I said, that this is one you can say a modification of relational database. Right here in relational database SQL, which is written, so that is a language, and just forget about this because it's not very related here. But just keep it that in mind that SQL is one language which develops relational databases. So I think now it's clear that flat is relational database and object-oriented database. The last one is actually all the languages. Obviously, all these flat files or these relational databases or object-oriented programming is done using some technologies and different languages like FTP, HTML, Cobra, or XML. And these are formats and languages of these in a structure of a database. Then, so one is structure of database, other is type of the data. That can be nucleotide, protein sequence patterns or motifs, macromolecule structures, gene expression data, and metabolic pathways. Then one important other thing is the quality of the data. Uh, the better the quality, the more reliable is the database, right? So how to improve the quality? For example, if one first thing is redundant, this redundancy is the very critical factor, because if the information is repeated again and again in a database, then what is the purpose of a database? Why we develop a database if we cannot organize information in a uniform way, so that if we access one information like any gene sequence, we can get the unique information of against all database, right? So quality can be improved by excluding the redundancy. Then again, the checking of the data. Checking of the data means, for example, you can say that checking the all the information, that the authenticity of that information by comparing it with the literature and all the information, and that will and validate that this information is valid and uh, suitable to use, and that checking should be on regular basis, because you know that every day the information is changing, and if the data is not updated accordingly, like you say updated, if it is not updated accordingly, then the purpose of data is just database get failed after 4 to 5 years. Then human curation, that all the information should also be cured. If you want to make the best gold standard database, then all the information should also be cured by humans manually, because there can be any information that is wrong, and that is stored by using any automatic annotation method. So for that, to remove all those inconsistencies and ambiguities, human curation is also important. So again, the structure of the data, then type of the data, then the quality of the data, and then the maintainer status there. And that information or database should be maintained by any public institution, organization, or any research group, and also by any or any other commercial organization, so that they can maintain the data and they can make improve the quality of the data accordingly. And there are different types of institutions, as you see, the NCBI database that is controlled by NCBI, and then MBuild database, EBI database, that is controlled by MBuild database, right? So all these informations we have discussed, but to summarize those information, you can see here that easy and quick retrieval information, Now if the data is maintained, then we can access all the information quickly and very easily, and it provides the backup support that we can also store that all information in a database. So if anything gets wrong, or if anything gets deleted, or any and the file gets corrupted, we have a backup support so that we are not worried about losing any information that is on paper. So database can also provide a backup support. And also databases offers unique window on the past. That means that if the data is updated accordingly, for example, if we are talking about one gene, and the information which started to get included against this gene in a database was, let's suppose, in 1990, and now today it is 2020, and the sequential updated information of this gene from 1990 to 2020, and if we look at all the information, so we can easily infer about the evolution of the information of this gene, the significance of this gene, that what sort of information is updated accordingly, how this, maybe this gene was not related to any disease in 1990, but in 2020 now we may say that this information has any link with any disease. And also, for example, I just give you a simple example here, that for example this gene 1 was found to be associated with any cancer in 1990, but that was reported, for instance, it was reported that in any liver cancer, gene 1 was upregulated, found to be upregulated, but that doesn't mean that this gene has any link with cancer. We just found that it has any sort of expression. But in 2010 we found that in 100 liver cancer patients, out of 100 liver cancer patients, 70 patients showed overexpression of this gene. So we may say that, oh yes, that information was actually found in 1990, that this gene was overexpressed. So that makes this case strong that now this gene is overexpressed. So why not look for further information and check that if we think in 2020 that if we target this gene 1, maybe this gene will affect the situation of cancer, and the patient gets, patient quality disease you get regresses, or the patient's lifestyles improves. So this unique window, now you can get an information that in 1990 we didn't have any information about this gene. In 2010 we thought that, okay, this gene was in multiple studies, this gene was overexpressed in cancer, and in 2020 we came up with an idea that if we target this gene, we may improve the prognosis or situation of the patient. So this is called a unique window. This will help you to find the answer using that unique window on the past. And lastly, this is same, that if we get to know the unique window, then that will help you to us to find the answers which may have asked 20 to 25 30 years ago. For example, here you can see that in this example I showed you that in 1990 there was an expression of gene, but in 2020, after 30 years, we are able to find that this gene, if we target this gene, this may affect or improve the situation of the patient. So using the database, we can solve the today's questions which have been determined 25 to 30 years ago, right? So maybe that's enough to argue or to talk about the significance of significance of databases. In the next part of this lecture, we will start to talk about the types of biological databases, its importance, and what type of DNA databases are there, what types of protein databases are there, right? And yeah, right. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.